actually want to go on the log there. I don't want to jump off. That would probably not feel good on my face. I'm not going to pull a real assassin move here. I love these really steep climbs in this game. It always feels nice to go up. Whoop! That's not a steep climb, that's a steep death. One of the problems with holding all buttons to move as fast as possible is it will often make you jump to places that you don't want to go to. Anyway, we'll be back in just a second once I get over there. Okay, let's try to avoid jumping off walls. The problem with me when I'm climbing up walls is I'll often go ahead and hold button 1 and space at the same time, and if you're holding both of those at the same time, it will allow you to instantly jump off of things, and that usually doesn't go well for me. Anyway, I have been talking about Hassan here and there, but not really talking all that much about what he's about. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this nice little climbing time here to say a bit about Hassan el-Sabah, who is actually the guy who started the Assassins, which were actually called hassin, which more or less means a hashish eater, which was meant to be an insult towards them, as in they sat around and were lazy and were drugged up and a whole bunch of things. But he actually started the whole assassins thing and was able to kill quite a few different people that were unsuspecting of it because of their stations and how well protected they were.
You did well to drive Robert from here. His force is broken. It shall be a long while before he troubles us again. Tell me, do you know why it is you are successful? You listened. Were it that you'd listened in Solomon's temple, Altair, all of this would have been avoided.
I did as I was asked.
No, you did as you pleased. Malik has told me of the arrogance you displayed, your disregard for our ways.
What are you doing?
There are rules. We are nothing if we do not abide by the Assassin's creed. 3 simple tenets, which you seem to forget. I will remind you. First and foremost, stay your blade.
From the flesh of an innocent. I know.
And stay your tongue, unless I give you leave to use it. If you are so familiar with this tenet, then why did you kill the old man inside the temple? He was innocent. He did not need to die. Your insolence knows no bounds. Make humble your heart, child, or I swear I'll tear it from you with my own hands. The second tenet is that which gives us strength. Hide in plain sight. Let the people mask you such that you become one with the crowd. Do you remember? Because as I hear it, you chose to expose yourself, drawing attention before you'd struck. The third and final tenet, the worst of all your betrayals. Never compromise the Brotherhood. Its meaning should be obvious. Your actions must never bring harm upon us, direct or indirect. Yet your selfish act beneath Jerusalem placed us all in danger. Worse still, you brought the enemy to our home. Every man we've lost today was lost because of you. I'm sorry. Truly I am. But I cannot abide a traitor.
I am not a traitor.
Your actions indicate otherwise. And so you leave me no choice. Peace be upon you, Altair.
He
he's experiencing a far better adoption rate than the other subjects.
I'm still pulling him out. He's been in there way too long.
No, not yet. We're still so far from where we need to be.
We shouldn't risk it.
What's another hour or two?
Why don't we discuss this in the conference room? Give Desmond a minute to stretch his legs.
I really don't see the need.
Warren, please.
Fine.
So, for Hassan and the assassins, there isn't really a huge amount of actual knowledge on how he trained his assassins, nor how he was capable of getting them not to fear death. Though the whole feeling that he felt and shared with his people that he had the key to heaven was a big myth surrounding the entire assassins and how they were capable of not fearing death whatsoever. Also, something that they were very proud of was their ability to hide in plain sight. So this game kind of plays off of that, and it's a very nice thing to have. The myth is that they probably did have hashish and just took it until they were able to pass out for a bit. To the point that they could be taken to a place that almost seemed like heaven on earth, just so that Hassan could convince his people that he really did hold the key to heaven. And that is a very, very big thing to convince your people of. And there's just no fear once you think, no matter what, if I follow this guy, I am going to heaven. That would be easily erasing every fear that you could possibly have.
Man, I can't even change my clothes.
No? Because you don't like being watched by all of these cameras, Desmond? Yeah, I wouldn't like that either. Alright, let's see what they're barking about in the other room, shall we?
I don't appreciate your questioning my authority in front of the prisoner. There's a word for that. I believe it's called insubordination.
And I don't appreciate you trying to kill him. There's a word for that, too. I believe it's called stupid.
Lucy, this isn't my decision. I don't set the deadlines. But I'm smart enough not to challenge them. Do you want to wind up like Layla?
I know the accident has everyone on edge.
Which is why there's no time to coddle him.
If you push him too hard, he'll shut down. And then we'll have nothing.
We have nothing now.
But we will. We just need to have a little faith.
Fine. But I want you thinking of ways to improve his staying power. We can't afford to stop every time the man breaks a sweat. It's bad enough we have to traipse through all of these useless memories.
I'll do what I can.
So I believe outside of the Animus we don't have access to it, but inside there's actually the ability to look at each of the memories and get a little summary of various things, and that's actually quite helpful depending on some of the memories, which almost seem like you're just going through the motions and you don't get any information out of them if you're not going through and looking at what they actually talk about. Can I go in there?
We're done for today, Mr. Miles.
Are we?
I suggest you return to your room and get some rest.
But I want to go in there. It's a nice flashy pin you got there. Aw. I was gonna go in there and see what you guys were doing back there. I like his flashy pin though. It's nice and blinky. I wonder if it's a flashy pin because it interacts with electronic devices, or if there is something specific that it does. Maybe it's a panic button. I don't know. So, what you doing in here?
So you're really an assassin? Like Altair?
Yes and no.
What do you mean?
I was supposed to be one, but I ran away from the farm when I was 16.
Farm?
Yeah, that's what they called the place where I grew up. The farm. Like Messiah, I guess. Only not so, creepy. Just a small community in the middle of nowhere. About 30 of us living, you know, off the grid.
Why?
Thought my parents were just crazy hippies trying to stick it to the man, you know? My dad was always going on about our enemies, how they'd be looking for us, how we'd have to be prepared. No one ever came. Nothing ever happened.
Why'd you run away?
I could never leave the compound. You have any idea what it feels like being trapped in a place, knowing there was a whole world out there I'd never get to see?
Don't you miss your parents?
No. As far as I'm concerned, they weren't my parents. They were my wardens, and I was their prisoner.
It sounds like they only wanted to protect you.
With all that's happened, I don't know. I guess they were right.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dredge up the past.
It's all right. Gives me something to think about.
Try and get some sleep. We've got a long day ahead of us tomorrow.
Got a question for you before I turn in.
Sure.
How did they find me? I mean, I haven't been anywhere near another assassin for 10 years.
Use your real name?
Nope. Not before today.
Credit cards?
Cash only.
Telephone?
There's no one to call.
Driver's license?
Motorcycle. Guilty pleasure.
There's your answer. Photo, fingerprint.
This is a drug company. What does Abstergo have to do with the DMV?
Desmond, these guys are everywhere. They... I'm sorry, I really can't talk about it.
Anything else to say? What was that noise? It sounded like a door opened somewhere. Perhaps that was just this door over here. Alright, we have anything else to investigate in this room? I always find it very important to investigate this room throughout the game because there's usually little tidbits here and there that are very easily missable if you don't go and search through this room. So I'll be looking around every once in a while just to make sure there isn't anything I'm missing here. And we will read about various memories once we get back into the Animus. I might be able to get in right now.
Aren't you tired?
No. No, that's just her asking if I'm tired. Probably the same thing.
Can't talk. Gotta work.
Okay. More or less, we have gotten everything we're going to get out of Lucy over there, who was threatened, apparently, so,
Damn it, they locked the door.
Awesome. So I guess, she's very expendable. This must have been the door that was closing, that I heard. Bathroom door here. Nice. Cameras everywhere in the bathroom. Sometimes I wonder if there's cameras in public places. I'm sure that's just me being paranoid, but you never know, man. It's creepy to be in public bathrooms.
Gotta say, that's a little creepy, Doc. Waking up to you standing over me. You been watching me sleep?
We're always watching you. Now get up. We've got a lot of work to do.
Ooh, wonder who I get to kill today.
Don't be so cavalier. Your ancestors almost had the right idea, Mr. Miles. If the deaths of a few people, evil people, no less, could save the lives of thousands more, well, it seems a small sacrifice.
What do you mean, almost?
They didn't go far enough. To use a rather tired analogy, corruption is no different than cancer. Cut out the tumors, but fail to treat the source and, well, you're buying time at best. There's no true change to be had without comprehensive, systemic intervention.
Chemo for the masses.
Education, re-education, to be more precise. But it's not easy, and it doesn't always take.
Let me guess. You've got a better solution. What is it, then?
Now that would be telling.
Well, hopefully we'll figure out what that better solution is eventually, but not quite now. Some strange markings on this, like someone was scratching at it.
Man, I can't even change my clothes.
Is that all you're going to say about that? Okay. Well, at some point you're going to have to go to the bathroom, and that's going to be whether you want to or not, I imagine. That was a little funky camera angle there. Just kind of bounce around a bit. How's it going, Lucy? You have a good night's sleep? Your hair looks kind of invisible. How do you do that in the morning? I don't know. Women in their hair, man, they're really good with that stuff. I can't get my hair to do anything properly, except to be messy.
Don't make this complicated. Sit down on the Animus and let's get started.
Technically, you want me to lay down on the Animus. You should probably be a little more specific. We might be able to read the memory block from here, or this might just push us back into the memory.
Just select the memory you'd like to visit.
Oh no, this definitely allows us to read the memory, so we'll go like this. Anyway, failure, but I'm not to blame. Bullshit. Had Malik not restrained me, Robert de Sal would be dead. And the artifact ours. Well, technically became yours later. Surely Al-Mualim will see things my way.
Time to start the program, Desmond.
Would you shut your face? I'm kinda reading here. Malik lives. He survived the attack beneath Solomon's temple and returned to Masyaf with the artifact. Cold comfort, this is. It should have been me who stood victorious before our master.
Ready to get to work, Desmond?
Still very egotistical about this whole thing. I got someone killed. It should be me holding the reward. I've done the best I can, but many of my brothers have lost their lives today. Still, were it not for me, even more would have fallen.
You forget how the Animus works? Select a memory on the menu in front of you and let's begin.
I love how grumpy he is. But it's kind of Altair's fault in the first place that these guys came. If he had actually done the job properly, it wouldn't have been a problem. Anyway, the Master's words wound worse than any blade. He says I've failed them.
Let's go, Mr. Miles. Time's wasting.
Yeah, shut up. That the lives lost were lost because of me. He stripped me of my rank and tools, humiliated me before my brothers. He is wrong. I'm not a traitor. No, you're just very egotistical. That's your fault, man. Alright. Let's check out Memory Block 2. No data available currently because we haven't actually done the memory just yet.
When the Animus shows you are being watched by an informed guard, you should blend.